Four Midwest Guys presents...
Here we go!
I've got a mission for you.
This should be good.
Blend in, find out who's loyal to the good guys and who isn't.
Star Wars Resistance Decoded.
You can work on my team.
Get ready to be impressed!
You've got to be kidding me.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Four Midwest Guys presents Star Wars Resistance Decoded. Today we'll be reviewing Season 1, Episode 2, The Triple Dark. Here with me to do that, as always, Mr. Brian Eckenbauer.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, B?
Nothing much, man. Ready to get started on this episode?
Absolutely. Just a little foreword. My brother Aaron, he has decided he doesn't, he's got a job, he's got a lot of other things going on. He will not be joining us on future editions or podcasts, at least for now. Hopefully he'll be back sometime, and the chair and the mic will always be open, and you will be missed, my brother. So with that in mind, let's move on though real quick and get into the Triple Dark. First thing I thought we'd talk about on this episode is Kaz has this, we find out he's got this trophy. It's like a racing trophy. It seems it's made of some, they say, pure iridium.
Iridium,
Yep. Which I guess is a rare mineral.
it's like gold, I guess. I mean, it is, the color is gold.
Yeah, so something very valuable. We find out multiple times throughout this episode that this is something that he could easily use to buy his way to a better life on the Colossus, get a lot of credits, could live high off the hog for months, as it were.
Yeah, everybody seems like they want it. Like, it's not like a, but then everybody says not, they don't say why. So It's not like it's like,
other than the iridium, that's all we hear.
Right, so they don't tell us if it's like, if the iridium is like a fuel source.
Right.
Or if it's
very rare.
Or if it's just very rare and valuable.
Right.
Or it's just like, oh, that's pure iridium.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting though that he puts his values. You know, this is sentimental to him. This was his first race he won on his own, even though his dad didn't want him to. So we're hearing more about the father-son relationship, and that's his connection, I guess, to his dad in his way. And he considers it to be a luck charm as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if this continues to play out. Will he eventually come to the point where he has to use it? Will he have to sell it at some point? Or will it get stolen again, or try to get stolen? You know,
well, I mean, later it gets crushed in this episode.
Right, so it does kind of lose some of its beauty, but as far as rare mineral,
It's still the same.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they go with this and how they tie it in, and if this is something like another sacrifice he has to make on his way to being the spy that he wants to be for the Resistance, working for the Resistance. Another thing I thought we'd talk about is, Yeager kind of gives Kaz his first mechanic job, and he does it, though, without any kind of training, really. He just kind of throws him in there and says, get to work, kid, and Tam and Nico will supervise. Good luck. No training whatsoever.
Yeah, no training. There's no, I mean, I get, but that's kind of part of his cover. Like, he's supposed to be a mechanic. Yeah. So he can't very well just go around and training him. Right. It'll throw everybody off. Be like, well, if he's so good at this, why are you training him? Mm-hmm. But it is kind of funny. Like, you would think that he would be there to himself to be there to supervise, to be like, oh, don't worry about that. I'll get this time, and then he'll do it for him and be like, okay, you watched how I did that. That's how it goes forward. But instead, he's just like, oh, there you go.
There you go, kid. You're on your own. It seems to me. It's like he almost wants him to fail sometimes, and maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he's using failure as the best teacher. I don't know. But that's a good point though, that he can't really show him training him. But you'd think maybe Yeager be like, "Why don't you two take the day off? Me and the new kid will tackle this one, so he can show him how to be a mechanic or something."
Right.
Yep. But we don't see any of that. So it's an interesting dynamic between him and Yeager for sure. So let's see how that proceeds and how we go from there. Also, another thing I thought was interesting was the whole Niku pet story. We've seen this in the trailer, a little bit more fleshed out. So I guess he had a pet dog of some kind, or some sort of alien pet. Right.
So that the connection was Kaz was talking about his trophy being lucky.
Right.
This is my trophy. It's lucky. And he goes, oh, well, I had a dog. I had a dog. His name, or I had a pet. His name was Lucky. He died. I ate him. And then I had a severe case of
whoop, nope, that's too much.
Yeah, that's too much information. Too much information. It was like, oh, okay.
It was funny, but I found it disturbing that he ate his own animal.
Yeah. It was very strange. It was like, oh, okay.
Oh, well, look.
I mean, I guess it kind of just reinforces the fact that he is an alien creature.
Different
Yeah.
kind of philosophy on life, yeah. Kind of puts you, it takes, kind of like, oh, well, that's funny, but very disturbing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tam and Kaz for a second. So, in this whole breakdown, this whole thing of him trying to fix, she's on his case constantly. She's watching him like a hawk, really. She's noticing he doesn't really seem to know what he's doing. She's taking notes, and I mean, she goes, she's not really exactly, he gives her this big wild story that, you know, he's from a mechanic from Coruscant, and then she kind of points out, well, that you mean you're from the Mechanics Academy then? And Kaz's like, oh, no, I'm self-taught.
Yeah, self-taught. Well, you have to, he's the one that took the ship from her, essentially. He's like, wait a minute, why is this guy so special?
Right, exactly. She is constantly probing, picking at him. She wants to know what's going on, and so far she doesn't see it. But on the flip side, as much as you think maybe she might turn on him and she might turn him in,
I mean, there's a good possibility, down the road. There's definitely a possibility, like if things don't go the way she wants them to go,
yeah,
she could bring it, even if she doesn't mean to, she could bring up the wrong person.
Yeah, she could. You're absolutely right.
So,
but yet on the flip side of the coin, you see her towards the end of the episode, she goes, oh, well, if he says, I got it covered. Oh, well, since you got it covered, you want to turn it right to left, not left to right. So she's actually helping him.
Right.
A little bit.
I think we're probably about six episodes in or so. You know, it'll come up and she'll say,
she'll be covering for
yeah,
him
she'll be like, I knew that there was something else other than blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I knew you weren't.
Or she's going to confront him. She's like, why are you here? What's your mission? You know.
It could be.
It could come down to that. But it'll be interesting. I think this would be a really good dynamic to see pay off down the road. Again, these first couple episodes, really, I think, and we've had this conversation, these first 10 episodes, it's going to be a lot of building, you know, a lot of backstory and a lot slower of episodes. Even.
Yeah, I mean, I've realized it needs to be just, you know, to set everything up because these are all new characters. But, you know, for those of us who like stories and we're used to Rebels where it interacts and you're like, ooh, where's this leading and where's this leading? Mm-hmm. We haven't seen any of that yet, and it's just like, oh, come on, please do something for, you know, for those of us that like those intertwining stories. Show us something, give us a hint or a preview of something else, and instead it's just kind of this baseline.
It's there, but it's
like
very,
you said, it's just building, and you're like,
yeah, and you're left to extrapolate on your own.
Yep.
You know, which is what we're doing. We're speculating, really, when you get right down to it. One other thing I noticed was so you get it's payday, everybody, and I noticed Niku said this. He says, we seem to have made a good haul this time. So I wonder if Poe isn't maybe actually paying Yeager, is more than just a favor going on, because
I don't know, because he said he's doing him a favor. I don't think he'd pay for a favor. I do think that maybe they were able to handle an extra vehicle while having
the extra help. Yeah.
And I mean, maybe that was why. And it was just an off thing. Like, usually we only do one vehicle. This time we did two. Oh, there's more money this time. You know what I mean?
Right.
It could be something like that.
I also like how he only gave Kaz the one bar, and everybody else got like 5 or 6 bars.
Yeah. The bell based on the work you did.
Yeah. Kind of bringing him out of that, the cruise is over, sweetheart. Welcome to the reality of the Colossus. Kaz is also very eager to begin his spy missions, but he doesn't really, he doesn't know how to do it. And again, I thought maybe Yeager might at least point him in the right direction, be like, when it's just him, hey, you might want to go, this guy seems suspicious, or you might want to start here, you might want to start there. But Yeager's like, no, you need to establish yourself as a mechanic first. Let's get that first out of the way. But Kaz isn't patient enough for that.
No, and it really reminds me, even though he's like older, it reminds me of like, you know, when you were little and you're playing like Cowboys and Indians or whatever, and you're just playing make-believe. And that's kind of seems the way Kaz is with his spying. You know, we see the one scene where he's just like,
done.
Yeah, and it's like, ooh, okay, that's, you know, he's just playing a spy. He's not actually like looking for stuff.
Right, he's not
And he's looking for stuff that's obvious too. Like he's walking around looking at people and trying to see if he hears anything. And it's like it's not going to be that obvious.
No, you want to sit at a bar. You want to keep an ear open. Might have a drink. Maybe that's where you start. That's what I was thinking anyway. But not that I know how to be a spy or anything, because I don't. Not at all. No, not me. Why is everybody looking at me? I like. This was interesting how Kaz runs back into Gravel. Gravel, who's our little blue alien, and I had a picture of him and I forgot to put him in here. But I thought it was interesting that it turns out he's kind of like a loan shark, maybe a small-time crime boss. It turns out,
right? Like the guy who owns like your local gambling thing, where you're like, I'm going to take the Celtics by 10, and
exactly,
and you're like, okay. And then you're like,
where's my money?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really tired of you dodging me, man.
Yeah.
Where's my money? But it'll be interesting to see though if that pays off for him, because throughout the course of this episode, he ends up saving Gravel's life essentially with his lucky trophy of all things. So his most prized possession, he sacrifices essentially,
which was lucky.
That's
what he says.
Yeah, and it tarnishes his most valuable position. I just wonder if it'll end up. Maybe Gravel will end up with that whole life-death thing, which we see floating around in Star Wars off and on quite a bit.
Right. I was curious how that was gonna, like, if he was just gonna like downplay it and say,
yeah,
what it is, what it is. You still money, but you know what I mean. Or if he was going to, say, you're good, we're good, we're
even now.
Yeah, you saved my life or whatever. I don't know.
No, he just runs off after he saves his life anyway. Before that though, he's like, this isn't over yet. He's like, are you kidding? We're about to be vaporized. They're going to shoot us. And he's like, so he's still wanting his money, but he doesn't say anything after he saves him. So I just wonder if there is going to be something to it that makes them square. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe he continues to hunt him down because he wants that trophy so bad because it's made of this erodium. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he becomes friend or if he remains foe. I'm probably thinking more on the foe side. What do you think, Brian? Or do you think he might be one of those guys that'll give him information down the road?
Yep, that's what I think.
Oh, okay.
I think we get a lot of, in these beginning episodes, we got a lot of misdirection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. That's for sure.
And I think that's going to be one of the misdirections that we got was he seemed to be this bad guy. And then we're going to come to find out that he's actually here to help, or he'll help her out if need, he'll help out if need be, or one of those kind of things.
Yeah, kind of give him information on the side.
Yep.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. So despite his failings on his little spy trip, Kaz does kind of have an intuition. He does, the alien that shows up to get his ship fixed, he does realize that there's something shady about it. So is this evidence of what Poe was talking about in the first episode where he says, I kind of have an eye for this thing?
He has 4 cents.
Like, well, I don't know about 4 cents, but he's like, kind of have an eye for this whole spy thing, and it seems like you have it, kind of thing, or resistance thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I mean, he did kind of pick it out, and he was like, he just kind of seemed why was he in such a hurry? Blah, blah, and he kind of climbs up on the ship and then overhears him on his little microphone, talking to Craig, and he's like, Kragan.
Yeah, and then we find out what a triple dark is, which is a storm, and how pirates.
Yeah. We find out what a triple dark is, and we also find out that Kragan's a pirate.
Exactly. And speaking of old Kragan there, which I got a nice picture of off of StarWars.com, we'll credit them. Is it just me, or does, first of all, his name Kragan sound like a derivative of the Kraken? And
I would say yeah.
Yeah, his whole name so only kind of has the look of the Kraken. But he also looks like to be Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right, which is a Disney movie.
Obviously. So you got the Disney connection.
And that's actually what I thought when I saw it when I was watching the episode. I was like,
Davy Jones?
Like, really? Like, okay.
Because he even has, like, the sawed-off tentacles there.
Yeah. Like, I was like, is one of them holding a key?
Yeah. To a heart in a box.
Yeah.
But he does make kind of a cool pirate. I'll give him that. If you're gonna rip off Pirates of the Caribbean.
At least rip off yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he's a pirate, so why not? So I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, and I really liked the ships that they were flying. I couldn't find any pictures of them online, but like they had the modified the TIE fighters, and they had the one I really loved was the modified Imperial shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they just added X-wings too, and it had extra weapons, extra engines, all kinds of crazy stuff. Really love the feel. What do you think? I know you like the ships, and
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed watching the ships. Wasn't too keen on like some of the sequences of them, but the ships all look cool, and it was kind of neat to see how people, they were pirates, so they've taken ships and they've, like you said, modified them, added extra things to them, and this and that. Like some of the pirates themselves, the one had I don't know if it was a stormtrooper or just like took the gear and like put horns on it.
Yeah, it looked like he had like devil horns on a stormtrooper.
Yeah, I mean, some of it was kind of
OT stormtrooper.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of they were kind of neat.
Yeah, cool.
And then one would look like Bosk.
Yeah, it did look a lot like Bosk. Same alien. What are they called? Not Rhodians. I can't think of the name. Anyway.
I don't have that one, do I?
We don't have that one. Otherwise, I would tell you. But Transdotion? Is that right? I think that's right. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Let me look it up. I'll look it up.
Look it up. But yeah, I thought it was cool, and you can even see like even on Kragan here, looks like he has an Imperial like. If you remember from Empire Strikes Back, you had General Veers, and how he led the attack when he was in
Trandoshan.
Trandoshan. There it is. That was close. But you can see like his helmet there is kind of like what General Veers was wearing in the AT-AT Walker. So yeah, there's a lot of borrowed stuff, a lot of things that are repurposed, just kind of thrown together, mashed together, kind of like what we would have done when we were kids with our stuff in our our toy box. We
bought all the clearance things and put them together.
Put them together or mashed them together and made our own shit. So I got a kick out of that. That was really, honestly, the pirates were the highlight of the episode for me.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, one thing I did notice, and he hasn't been introduced in the series yet, but you have the ex-TIE fighter pilot. I could have sworn he was the one who shot down the other one in the race in the pilot episode. That he was flying a modified TIE fighter, and I could have sworn he's the one who shot the other one down, or hit him with a fake laser or whatever.
Right, the stunner.
Mm-hmm. But yet I did not see him in this whole defense of the Colossus.
No, I did not either.
And he's supposed to be one of the aces, supposedly.
Yeah.
So, it's either a lack of continuity on the part of the Resistance riders, or it could be is it maybe that it's done on purpose, so that makes us wonder, why wasn't he there? Was he working for the pirates? Is he working with the First Order? Part of that, and maybe he faked his ship breaking down or something, but he wasn't part of the defense of the Colossus.
Right. Well, he also could have been he doesn't want to know that he's there, so they didn't bring out a ship because it's obvious going to be a TIE fighter. Yeah. And they're going to recognize, so if whoever it was, could go back and say, "There's a TIE fighter here, so and so."
Yeah.
Or it could have been that the cameras didn't film him. Like maybe he was out there and he was in the battle,
but we didn't see him.
We just didn't see him, and because maybe they were going through the scenes, they're like, okay, here's this, and this, and they're looking through everything. It's like, okay, we got everything.
Yeah.
And they missed the fact that his ship wasn't in there.
It could be. I think it might be more along the lines of continuity. Although it would be an interesting little small plot twist if they put that in there. And then we find out later that, he literally did fake being, out of commission or something for the battle. So it's just an interesting point, something to kind of take note of as we go forward in with the episodes. And then finally, at the end of the episode, we find out that, again, that the First Order is in league, Phasma, along with, what's the red TIE fighter pilot's name? I should have wrote it down.
Eugene?
Yeah, Andre, whatever. Or at least we think his first name's Andre.
Yeah.
But anyway, that they are in league with the pirates, I guess, to terrorize the Colossus enough into the Colossus turning over, getting Commander Doza, who's the admiral or commander of the entire base,
right,
to turn over control of the Colossus to the First Order for protection, I guess, is what they're trying to get at. Or to drive them away.
Yeah, I think it's just to give them a base point, so that they can hide ships there, or just refueling center or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. See, I think it could be maybe this is that final piece of the puzzle before that. Logistically, maybe they need this for the attack on the New Republic that they're planning. That this is where they're going to use it to fuel their ships before they launch into hyperspace against the New Republic.
That could be.
Kind of thing. So that's very much a possibility. So, and definitely something to keep an eye on, because it's starting. We're starting to get the bigger plot, even though they're way out in the middle of nowhere, they actually have a link to the
we're starting to see a few pieces thrown in. Like we did get Poe, but now we're actually we're seeing Phasma, and like you said, maybe this is the piece that they're looking for.
Yeah.
To solidify their foothold on whatever corner they need.
Corner of the galaxy, that last piece of logistics. Whatever fuel, whatever it is that they require.
Yep.
So. All right, well, that's our review of the Triple Dark. Brian, what's your final thoughts and grade on the episode 2, season 1, episode 2, Triple Dark?
Triple Dark, I would give it maybe a C+. C+.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like we were talking about off camera, I'm not into this series yet, and I really want to be.
You're waiting for that hook.
Yeah, like I'm waiting for it to okay, yeah, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Okay, that's fair. I will continue with the B. I gave the pilot a B. I'll give this one a solid B. If nothing else, for the pirates, I really like the pirate ships. I love the pirate look. I love all the new stuff that they're introducing to us, especially in this time period in Star Wars, because we know very little outside of the movies, of what's going on in the galaxy as a whole. So any kind of new introduction, new stuff, that really excites me. What I didn't care for in this, and we talked about this too, is how Kaz defeated the pirates.
Oh yeah,
that honestly is probably what kept me from giving it a B+ rating, because he uses the comm and he uses interference to jam their comm, which jams their nav computer.
So they can't talk to each other.
And they can't turn it off for some reason. And
it shorts out their system, so they have to turn it around, because they're going to start picking us off one by one.
Yeah, it was pretty hokey. They could have thought of something better, I think. But
yeah.
So yeah, that lowered it from a B+ for me because of the pirates, and put it right back at the B. But yeah, it's going to take a while, guys. If you're like Brian, trust me, like the first 10 episodes of Rebels was kind of the same way. It took a while because everybody had to have their backstory episode, or they had to, like I remember Ezra teaming up with Zeb to get a Melu run for Hera, and they end up stealing a TIE fighter, and blah blah blah. And it's not the greatest of episodes, but it's one of those, we're at the beginning and we need to tell the story, and,
right? Exactly.
Establish the character, and but we'll get there. I think we're going to get there. So, patience. May the Force be with you. And all that stuff. But before we go, if you want to know where to find us, all of our podcasts, everything, the best place to go is www.4midwestguys.com. Again, that's 4midwestguys.com. On there, you can follow, like, and subscribe. If you want to find us, we got links to our Facebook, which is facebook.com/4midwestguys. You can follow us on Twitter at 4midwestguys. You can follow us on Instagram at 4midwestguys. I am trying my best to put, since we switched over from Brian's account to the actual 4midwestguys account, I am trying to do more behind the scenes stuff. I'll continue to do that as best I can. And I'm sure Brian will help out too as we go. And then Brian, where can they find you on Twitter as well as Stardust?
At Ankzone.
At Ankzone. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. You can find me as well on Stardust and on Twitter at bwilly1977. We'd like some kind of feedback. We're desperate for feedback, guys. I ain't gonna lie to you. So please reach out to us, whether you like it, hate it, or whatever you think we need to improve on, or whatever you think that we don't need to improve on, that you really like and like to continue us to do. We'd like to hear back from you, one way or the other. So please reach out to us and let us know how we're doing, so that we can only get better. All right. Brian, as always, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. And this is B. Willie saying, as always, may the Force be with you.